everybody. Welcome back to the Tipsy Ghosts. We're your tipsy hosts, Sarah, and Lindsay.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Hello. I think it's time that we catch up on Netflix.
Yes. So much good stuff.
It's been a while. I have an announcement.
Okay.
I have finally finished or caught up with Bridgerton.
Yes.
I have not.
Oh, my goodness.
I am on, so I watched the first season like way back when. So I'm on season 2 and I'm on the last episode of season 2. And then I'll go on to season 3.
Okay.
But I have caught up on the books.
Okay.
That's probably literally the only thing that I've seen that you guys have seen. I love me some Bridgerton.
I love them too. I've read some spoilers like about season 3
Oh my god, why would you do that?
because I've read the book, so I know how it goes.
You've read the ultimate spoiler?
There's some differences between the book and the show that people are upset about, so we'll see how I feel.
Wait. How far does the book go? Like, if you've read spoilers for season 3.
How many seasons are we going to get?
Each book is one of their stories.
Okay, how many books?
7. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. There's 8. Did you not realize that all of their names start with the letter A, B, C in birth order? Anthony,
No,
Benedict, Colin,
Daphne,
A, B, C, D, E, Eloise.
Oh, yeah.
F is Francesca, Gregory, and Hyacinth.
Okay, thanks for that mind-blowing fun fact.
So book 1 is technically book 1 is Daphne's,
It's Daphne.
which it's the only one out of order.
See, that's
Book
the
2
problem.
is
I was
Anthony.
confused.
Book 3 is Benedict. So they went out of order because
Oh.
Colin is book 4.
Okay.
Okay.
So I read the spoiler that season 4 is going to be Benedict.
Yes. So I don't know why they switched that up
Maybe they had. I
Why
don't
would
know.
you say that?
because it goes chronological. So like Benedict meets his wife before Colin and Penelope get together. So it's weird that they
Spoiler alert.
jumped out of order.
How do we know it's a wife? Okay.
Okay. So sorry.
We don't know. Don't listen to anything she said.
Okay. Sorry. I will not say anything else. So no, I've read books 1 through 4. I haven't read 5, which is Francesca's story. Or Eloise.
I'm sure you've told me, but I had no idea these were books.
Yes.
I knew they were books. I did not realize they were in order of the alphabet, though. I feel like
They're
an
in
idiot.
order of the alphabet. The kids are named in order of the alphabet.
Okay, in my defense, they started at Daphne. I would have never picked it up.
It's weird that Daphne's is first, even in the book universe, but it is.
Also, there's so many names. I would have never caught on to that.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. That's why I was counting their names.
I have to remember that it's called Bridgerton, so it's going to always focus around the Bridgertons.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, well, I quite enjoyed it. I can't wait for you to watch.
I'm excited.
Okay, what else have you watched?
It wasn't on Netflix, but I watched the new Sherry Papini documentary on Hulu. It was very, very good.
Ooh, okay.
I enjoyed it. I think it was only 3 episodes, so it's pretty short.
I will add that to my list. I don't think I've watched a lot of documentaries or true crime or many horror movies, which is kind of unusual for me.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched a lot of like kind of mindless TV lately. Watched a lot of Love Island
Okay.
on Peacock. Can't say I recommend, but it is just an
It is
easy watch.
mindless. I mean, it's how 90 Day Fiancé is for me. It's mindless.
I love 90 Day
I
Fiancé.
do too. It's my favorite.
It is so much better than Love Island, I'll just be honest. But
Okay, Dancing for the Devil.
I loved that.
I did not watch that, but I saw it advertised on Netflix.
I really liked it.
Really liked it. Still frustrated.
Mhm.
How about,
It's ongoing.
has anybody watched How to Rob a Bank?
No.
And I don't want to spoil anything, but
Okay. Have you seen Tell 'Em You Love Me yet?
no.
Oh my gosh. It broke my heart.
That sounds like something that would make me cry. You know I don't do that.
It's
So, okay. It's nobody.
Oh, wait,
nobody
wait.
dies.
It's on my thing.
yes.
Yeah.
Nobody dies. It's not like a
You
true
did
crime.
watch it?
Apparently I watched it. What is it about? Remind me.
The guy with cerebral palsy.
Yes. There's a
Oh,
CP.
he's got a communication.
Yes.
Yes, I did watch that. So I was kind of conflicted because I could see
Same.
both sides.
I could too, but it did feel like maybe she took it like a little bit too far.
Also, because I was never shown how he actually communicates or if he communicates. And so I was like, who do I believe?
It was a really sad story, I feel like, all around. But yes, I did watch that.
Anyways, now that we're caught up, what are we going to talk about tonight?
Well, we went to a faraway land of Independence, Missouri, which I know we've talked about before. It's a suburb of Missouri. No,
It is a suburb in Missouri.
it's a suburb of Kansas
Of
City.
Missouri.
Of Missouri, the state.
The Missouri suburbs.
You'll never know where in Missouri.
It's a secret. Spoiler, it's Kansas City. It's just outside of Kansas City, Missouri.
So we did not drive far.
It wasn't far.
Oh, which
That
is
was my
unusual
point.
for
Thank
us.
you. So we went to a place where we probably should not have been, where we were allowed. This was legal. But it felt like we shouldn't be there.
Yeah. Why is that? You want to tell them why we shouldn't have been there?
It's a Masonic Lodge.
Masonic Lodge.
And I'm not a Freemason. Are you guys?
No, I am not.
No, we weren't allowed to be.
Yeah, they didn't like women.
I don't know how they feel about it nowadays, but definitely not back when it was.
No.
Is it still up and running? No, I think it is.
I think they still have
I think they're
meetings
still
there.
in use there.
It looked like they were still meeting. So it's a Masonic Lodge. I think somebody mentioned, well, yeah, it has women because there's a ladies' lounge.
Yes.
Right.
The ladies' lounge.
Okay.
So we might be acceptable today. We probably wouldn't get in
Back in the day.
even if we tried it today.
No. I kept thinking it was like Mensa. You're like, I'm not smart enough to be in here.
I did.
It is not
I do
Mensa.
remember us saying that. And they were like, and this is why we would not be allowed in. We're not smart enough to even know the difference between Mensa and Masonic Lodge.
Let us in your lodge.
I
We
promise
need
we're
lodging.
smart. Just give us a lounge.
We need a ladies' lounge.
This is like the second place we've been that has had a ladies' lounge lately. I thoroughly enjoy that.
And it was like this tiny little lounge with
Yes,
wood paneling.
it's the smallest room.
This is a spoiler alert, but talking about, so at one point during the night, we were talking about Freemasons and how we're not them. And Lindsay asked if they were upset, the spirits, that we were there because we were women. And Lindsay said, my nephew's name is Mason. And I say, I have Mason jars. And Sarah says, I am free.
So therefore, we should be allowed in.
We are Freemasons now.
I too have the recording from the library, and I can't wait to go through it. It had me dying.
It was wonderful.
Tell us about this place
Yeah,
first.
let's hear about it.
Let me go through the history. There's honestly not a lot. The group that we were with said that what they've found is that spirits aren't really specific to the location. They're just kind of transient. And there hasn't been a ton of, to quote Taylor Swift, bad blood that happened on this.
Of course.
So the property goes all the way to before the first run-ins between the Mormons and the other independence groups. I don't know what those were.
What those were. Okay.
Probably like the Protestants or...
Okay. Yeah, maybe.
So we didn't point out that Independence, Missouri is kind of a holy ground.
Holy ground.
Which I did not know this. I've lived in
Mormons.
Kansas City how long? And I did not know that
I
there was
know.
like an epicenter of Mormons here in Independence.
There really is.
Like there was this huge church, right? Right
Oh,
by
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
It's an actual temple.
Temple.
Yes, I did not know this.
There's actually a couple temples here.
Facing what, east?
I don't know. For
It's
sure.
facing a specific direction.
This is probably because I'm on the Kansas side. I don't associate with the Missouri side
Oh.
often.
Well.
Wow.
Oh. Honestly, good for you.
Oh my God. Got a little overconfident there.
I did.
Anyway, so Mormons versus everybody else. And so there were fights on this property, and it was originally a farm. And one night, this is a story by one of the leaders. And so I don't know how accurate it is. I'm just kind of repeating what they said because there's really not a lot of information on this specific property. But he said that there was a farm, and one night a group of Mormons raided the farm. And the son, it's either the son or the daughter, one of the children of the farm owner was killed. And eventually the farm people were chased out. And then the property was carved up until sometime in the late 1800s.
This is great history.
I'm telling you.
The farm people.
The farm people, the farmers.
The farm people.
People of the farm.
The farm people in the 1800s at some point in that 100 years.
Got it.
They were chased out, and then the land was carved up. And,
Does that mean separated?
yep.
Okay.
This
They carved it with a carving knife.
Okay. I'm following.
It took 100 years, okay?
this particular plot of land that the building that we were in was standing on was the first official plot of land established in Independence
Ooh.
Ah.
Furthermore, Truman, President Harry Truman.
Oh, the good old
The
Trues.
Press?
H. True.
It's true.
Hair?
Yep. You say, Lindsay says, Harry, like Home Alone 2.
Home Alone too.
I say, or Sarah says, Hair Bear.
Hair Bear. I knew it. I could feel it.
And I say H. True. So whatever we want to nickname him.
Okay.
He set the actual physical cornerstone for the building. And he also, before that, he established the lodge.
And why would Harry Truman do this in Independence, Missouri?
Well, that is his birthplace
That
and
is
his
true.
hometown and where he lived.
And where he strolled.
Also where he strolled. He'd like to stroll around the town.
I do remember them telling us that
Yes.
he took strolls around town and he walked right by this.
Took very long walks.
Yes.
Like long walks. In fact, if you ever visit Independence, you can see signs marking his trail.
It's
the Truman Trail.
The Truman
Stroll
Trail.
Trail.
He established the lodge before his presidency started, and so it is known as Truman's Masonic Lodge. And when he was president, the other members would not allow his Secret Service agents in because they weren't Freemasons. And so Truman's president, so he left town to do Truman things. And then whenever he came back, surprisingly, shockingly, all of his Secret Service agents had Masonic rings on their pinkies, which means they're Freemasons.
That's all it took.
I remember them telling us this, and I just love that being a Freemason trumped the Secret Service of the president.
Mhm.
They're like, we don't care.
Yeah, I could have gone into detail about Freemasons, but I don't want to get any of that wrong. So then we were told that only Freemasons should be in the building, but then they said it was okay because they rented the building out, so we were okay to be there.
Boydson had to make sure that we were allowed in.
Well, I got a little nervous. I didn't want to,
Have them hex us or something?
yeah.
Yeah.
Piss off the Masons.
Yeah.
So this particular group that we were with has been to this location several times, and they have a lot of experiences. And so this place is set up with an upstairs and a downstairs. The downstairs it's kind of like a cafeteria or like, I don't know, a community room. It's just wide open. There's a kitchen on one side, and then there's a downstairs closet, which is storage, basically. So in this downstairs closet, they've had REM pod activity. There was one female that was alone, and she asked if there was anybody in that closet with her, and they got an EVP saying, "Smile,"
Creepy.
which sounds creepy. There has been various psychics and mediums that have gotten weird feelings.
The vibes were off.
And they've had REM pod activity. And then downstairs in the main room, they've had their yes, no, maybe light go off or be responsive. They've had flashlights. Further on down by the stairs, there is a ladies' lounge. And in there, they have seen a shadow person. They've had EVPs. They've had REM pod activity. And on one occasion, where there was a spirit box session happening in the downstairs closet, and then there were also people in the ladies' lounge at that time. The people in the ladies' lounge were getting responses or answers to the questions that they were asking in the downstairs closet, which they thought was pretty interesting. So then you go upstairs and there's a library. There's a kind of a formal meeting room, just like a big table and a lot of chairs. A boardroom is what I thought of. And then there is this gigantic room where I feel like it's the meeting of the minds.
It's a huge room. It takes up most of the space upstairs.
It does. There's a stage with 3 thrones,
We sat in the thrones.
chairs lining the sides of anyway, it's a big room. And so upstairs in the library and the meeting room, they've had shadows that kind of peek around the corner. They've had EVPs. They've had REM pod activity. And one person even heard a growl in the library. And then that large, giant room, they've had shadows. There was one time where the fans were all off, but then all of a sudden one of the fans spun backwards on command whenever somebody was like, spin that fan, and they did. There are knocks up and down between the seats. There's lots of activity near the piano. There's a piano there. One time by the piano, they were doing a spirit box session and they weren't getting much activity, so they started to walk away, and then the spirit box said stay. And then on the stage where the thrones are, they're in the middle throne. They say that females have their flight or fight response triggered. and they feel like there's somebody coming up behind them and kind of looming over them. They also think that they were visited by a Truman spirit.
Truman!
Jealous.
So they've had lots of things happen here, and we were able to spend a few hours. So the group wanted to start out in the giant secret meeting room, and so we all went up there as a group just to kind of get things started.
Get the party started.
So I have a recording from that room. We were kind of getting things settled, and so there was a lot of movement initially.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, whenever we were mostly quiet, one of the leaders asked, "How many of you are here with us?" And I feel like I hear a man with like a very low, I don't know that I'll be able to isolate it, but I do think I heard that. Of course, there's a group of people. I'm not familiar with these people and how they investigate or what noises their bodies make. And so I don't know if it was one of the other investigators or not, but I did hear that. The temperature alarm on the REM pod went off. And then I do mention that later on I say that when I was in that secret meeting room, I felt like I shouldn't be in there. Not only because I was a woman and we were kind of focusing on the old days where women weren't allowed, but it just felt like I shouldn't be there. And it was the vibe that I felt, not just I'm not a Freemason, I shouldn't be here. It was a vibe. So that's kind of the gist of what I got in the secret meeting room.
Mm-hmm.
With the big group.
I
Yes.
had also a recorder on top of the piano during that time, and I noted the same thing as you, that their temp drop was fluctuating a lot. The REM pod was going off occasionally, and it went off like really weird at one point, like it was making all these weird beep beep beeps back to back, and they were like, "It doesn't do that." We left to go to the library after a little bit, and they stayed in there, and that's when the REM pod was going off weird. And then they left shortly after that, and my recorder was still in there going, and I caught a couple weird noises for about like a minute. There was just some weird like shuffling noises, but we were still upstairs. It could have been us, and it was just picking up on that, and we weren't calling it out. It could have been them, because I have no idea where they went after this. I could hear them faintly, so I feel like they were still upstairs, but I don't know where they went.
I think they were in the hallway a little bit.
I think they were in the hallway, and so I think it might have been like one of them could have been moving and like walked in the room real quick and not said anything, so who knows.
So you mentioned that at one point we go to the library.
We did go to the library at 21 minutes and 40 seconds.
I think Boyster and I both have recordings from in here. So I don't know about you, but I got a sound like something was dropped or moved in the library right behind us.
Yes.
And I also hear a loud bang in the room.
Mm-hmm.
We mentioned that the group has told us that there's shadows that have been seen peeking into the library. And again, you mentioned that it's oppressive vibes.
I remember being fascinated by the books.
Yes.
You were fascinated by the books.
Shocker.
You were really excited about the encyclopedias.
Mm-hmm.
I love a good encyclopedia.
Encyclopedias.
Yes.
And then you were so excited that they had chapter notes dating all the way back to 1918, which I agree is fascinating.
Yes.
But you were your mind was blown.
It was. I really wanted to touch it, but I was also worried I wasn't allowed to. So I didn't.
I agree. That feels like secrets, no?
Yeah. Like I also like it was, I mean, that's 100-year-old book. You think about that nowadays. I didn't want to do something and like mess anything up, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we didn't touch anything.
We didn't touch
wanted
it.
to.
We did.
I did state that the air conditioner comes on. It does make it a little harder to hear things in the background. I hear something make a noise. It almost sounds like a drawer pull being lifted or moved, that kind of metal banging sound. And then really from this point on, we cannot say one single serious sentence between the three of us. And it's a good 20 minutes of us just being us. And I'd like to share some of that.
Okay.
I'm sure Boydston would too.
I don't remember much of the library except the books.
I'll tell you about how we use the phone app. It did say a few words. It says,
yes.
said, adults, Linda.
Linda, that's
We got
me.
really excited.
We did. We were like, Linda,
That's me.
we know her. And then it says bone. And somehow we say toe bone. And then it goes, the toe bone's connected to the...
Foot bone.
But it's not.
Except for you said...
I was hung up that it's connected to another toe bone.
You said the toe bone's connected to the bone. You said ankle bone, and I said it's connected to another toe bone because we just kept going on and on. Anyways, we've discovered, Lindsay was fascinated that the toe bone is connected to another toe bone.
I thought it was connected to the foot
You thought
bone.
it was hilarious. Every time we said that it was connected to another bone, you laughed so hard. It was
Apparently I was
amazing.
fascinated.
So I say, I don't think you have any bones anymore, friend. Do you want to pick something else to talk about?
To the spirits.
Yes.
What did Lindsay say?
Lindsay says, their bones are buried. And I said, oh, okay.
No. Lindsay said, we can't tell them they're dead, but you can tell them they don't have bones.
Because you always get onto us. You always tell us, Boydson, they may not know they're dead. Don't tell them they're dead.
I just told them they don't have bones anymore. They might want to pick a different word.
Go on.
But then Lindsay says, oh, maybe they're telling us where their bones are buried. And I say, oh, okay, well, where are your bones buried? And Boyson says, bone home.
Like E.T. phone home.
E.T. bone home.
That's when Sarah said, E.T. bone home.
See, I knew exactly where your mind was.
Lindsay said, bone home. That's the new episode name. So there you go.
Also, I said that Sarah sees a shadow in the hall.
Oh, well, that seems important to note.
Oh, yeah, by the way.
Besides
Bone
bones.
home.
Bone home was funny, but I did see a shadow. And I'm not really a shadow person, but turns out this is like the second or third time.
You say that, but you've seen
I
several
have
shadows.
now.
You are a shadow person.
Apparently I am.
Accept it. You're a shadow person now.
Literally every time we're at Belvoir, though, and they're like, this is the most famous hallway for shadow people. I never can see shadows. I can see them elsewhere, apparently. Okay. So then we did spend quite some time in the worship room, business room, whatever you want to call it.
Secret meeting room.
Secret meeting room. Like, I don't know, most of our time. Probably over an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm. We were in there sitting on the thrones.
We did.
I did go behind the stage alone.
You did. So explain how we can go behind the stage. Like it's like a little hallway.
You can
go
There's like a
behind
little
the
hallway.
stage.
It's like we would not be able to see Boydson if she went behind the stage because it's like a hallway that's connected by two doors. And I mean,
Yeah, there's
it's
a wall
it's
separating
a wall.
it. You can't
Separating.
see.
And you can't really hear.
Think about a theater, and this is it.
Mm-hmm. But they had a motion sensor. What was it?
Yeah, it was a motion detector.
Like a motion detector that was set up behind the thrones that kept lighting up. And Boydson, you were hearing taps, so you went to investigate.
I'm going to clarify just a little because it was actually sitting on a table right between the two of us. And the
Oh,
reason
okay.
why I say that is because Boydston felt it necessary. I had the one, I think that was really close to us, the recorder. So she just says, we notice that it goes off mostly when we're kind of antagonizing, which is not really our style. But for some reason, we were just really fired up about men telling us what to do. We were not having it. So anytime this went off, we were like, go sit down. And then the light would go off.
Well, I think we were trying to get a response because, again, they kept telling us women were not allowed in this room. And so we were like, okay, we're going to go sit on the thrones in the room we're not allowed in and see if we can get a response to that.
This
You
was
guys
unlike
like
her.
to go to places that are not, that we're not supposed to go to now.
Yeah.
Welcome to the
mind.
club.
But Boydston was like, go sit down. I told you. Go sit down. Like over and over. And I was like, man, maybe you were feeling the oppressive vibes.
I probably was.
You were fired up, man. I haven't heard you like that.
I don't usually do that.
You take charge, you tell the men to go sit down, and you declare we are the freest of Masons.
We are. I have mason jars. Lizzie has a nephew named Mason, and you are free.
It's a little out of order, but we got there. About 15 minutes in, Boydston, you hear a whisper in real time, but I cannot catch it. And you, Boydston, kept saying that you felt like somebody was sitting in the dark with us. And about an hour in, we start taking some pictures. I don't know if you guys remember this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because I have the pictures on my phone.
We do get a kick out of these pictures because they are pretty entertaining, but something kind of weird did happen with the pictures. We tried to set a timer, as we do, right? And some of them just turned out ridiculous because we didn't time it right or whatever. But one of them turned out crazy, like the Harris Carney house, meaning that like it took, but when we went to go look at it, my face was all distorted. Boydston looks pretty, but there's like flames or something, like lasers coming out of her head.
It's like lightning, yeah.
And Lindsay is not in the picture.
Again, the spirits, when they take hold of our phones and take our pictures, they're like, Lindsay does not need to be in any of these pictures.
Yes, there
My
it is.
face is light.
You are
Yes.
an angel.
And there was no
Lindsay's
light.
not there.
Where's Lindsay?
None of us were holding any light. So the room is pitch black. So
I
like
look like-
really, We'll post it, but
Where's
it's
your
literally
face?
just like a flash that's going off, and it only got Boyd's sin really in it.
It's terrifying. That's Sarah's face.
Again, at least she's there.
Oh, barely, but it's pretty cool.
I don't even know if I made it back.
There's Lindsay.
Yeah, I don't even know if I made it back to the throne in time. Maybe
You did. You did because
You did.
we talked about it.
Oh, okay.
It's a pretty entertaining picture. So we'll have to post that one and, put it side by side with the one that actually turned out. But is, it's whatever. But at least you could see us.
Yeah. So that motion detector did keep going off repeatedly, just while we were sitting there.
Did you guys notice that there's globes
Yes.
on top of these thrones?
Uh-huh.
Why?
There's a lot of weird stuff going on in that room.
Because they're free in the world.
Okay, so an hour in, Lindsay, you decide to go into the reflection room.
Oh, yes. I went
We
there by
sing
myself.
Several songs that include the word reflection. None of them were the same song, but we sing them.
The
Christina
reflection room.
Aguilera.
Yes, of course you sang that. It's a tiny room that's like off of the main room. And I mean, it's like a closet essentially. And I just
With a
sat
mirror.
with a mirror that you're supposed to reflect in, like meditate kind of thing, I guess.
And some clothes.
And some clothes and like robes.
Yes.
And so I just sat in there by myself
And reflected.
and I reflected.
So you were in there for, I think, only 15 minutes because it got really hot.
It did.
But Boydston and I are sitting out there, and after we're done singing, we hear what sounds like a door opening, and we both say that we fully expected you to be walking out at that time, but you did not.
I did not. It was not
Not
me
at that
opening
time.
the door.
So we definitely heard a door opening. Thought it was you. It was not. I don't know if you heard anything on your end, and there's really no doors down by the end of where we were sitting. Really, I mean,
Just the hallway doors, like the behind the stage doors.
do they open and shut?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't walk back there, so I didn't know if there were actual doors, or if they were just open.
But nobody was back there.
Oh, well, then it could have been that. And once again, me, the non-shadow person, is now a shadow person. I see shadow people under the exit signs
Did you?
several times.
Take it back. You're a shadow
I
person.
am now a shadow person.
She's a shadow person. Let the record show.
Except me. You came out of the reflection room.
Uh-huh.
You said you were blazing hot.
Yeah.
And you said that you thought you caught a meow.
Yes. I did not have the recording for that time.
Sorry, you heard a meow with
I
your
did
own
hear-
ears.
I
You
did
caught
hear
it with
meow.
your ears.
Ghost cat.
Ghost Cap. I heard a meow.
And I believe that is all we got from that room.
I went behind the stage at one point because I heard noises. And so I
Mhm.
went there by myself.
So brave.
I am so brave. I ran into a chair on the way back.
Yes, you did. And I laughed immediately.
But were you okay?
Lindsay asked if you were okay.
I was okay.
Look at me.
Thank you. So while I'm back there, I hear it on the recorder and I say it out loud. I was like, there are tapping. And it's like, it's not consistent, but you can hear it around me,
Mhm.
which was a little unnerving.
Okay.
And then on the recording, I didn't call this out, but on the recording, I hear like a super, super faint, I don't know if it's real, but very, very faint growl.
Ooh.
Okay.
And I do remember being uncomfortable back there. Whenever I went back, I was like, oh, there's something not right here. My body had all my alarms going off. I was like,
Mm.
I need to leave right now.
Interesting. Yeah, that checks out from the vibes that you were getting. The vibes were off.
In that room, man, I was not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
So after Boydson comes back and tells us that she's hearing taps back there, I decide to move my recorder from where it was on the piano to back there and just leave it back there running while we were still in the throne room. It's hard because I hear noises and taps, but I cannot hear us. Like, we are very, very faint, even though we're literally right in front. It must be a thick wall because I could barely hear us, even though we're right in front of where I put the recorder. So I can't hear us calling it out. So could have been us. Who knows? But I did catch a couple taps, and then I heard 2 loud bangs.
Bang,
Again, they were 10 minutes apart, so they were not back to back.
Oh.
Could have been them downstairs. Could have been one of us. I don't know. I'm not confident in anything just because I can't hear us call it out. One of us could have dropped the phone, and I wouldn't have heard us say, "Oh, that was me." So,
Yeah.
who knows? But I did hear taps and bangs. That's what
T's
I got.
and B's.
T's and B's.
So yeah, it sounds like we finished the night with some time in the closet.
We did. We went to one of the closets by the back doors downstairs, and we were only in there 8 minutes. Again, it's hot. We weren't even doing EVP sessions. I think we were just kind of trying to talk, and I didn't get anything out of that.
Okay.
There was a fun little chair by the stairs.
I wanted nothing else in life but to ride up this chair.
Yeah, I was mortified.
It's like one of the motorized chairs you sit in to go up the stairs.
That is my life's goal.
It is so loud.
And you guys wouldn't let me. I tried to start it and you said, stop that.
Because it was so loud.
It was so loud. If it was like a quiet little Zoomer, I'd be fine. But it was like literally shaking the entire building.
I am unfulfilled and it was not that loud.
You are the rule follower out of all of us, and you go up to this motorized chair and you're like, I'm going to get on it. And we're like, don't do it.
You know, I've got a thing for chairs.
I don't mind you sitting down.
Forbidden
I did
chairs.
not expect you to push the damn button. And it was like, bzzz. And I was
started
like,
shaking.
ma'am, no. Get off the chair.
Sarah literally just walked away.
I
do
nothing
not know
to
her.
do with this.
We did decide to take some fun pictures too at the landing where the chair ends.
Yes, and those turned out great.
I wouldn't know. I couldn't ride it up there. I had to walk
up the stairs
with my legs.
To walk up the stairs like...
I was exhausted. These pictures didn't turn out great because it was such a long walk.
Speaking of legs, what happened to my legs in the picture?
They went somewhere.
They look literally non-existent. I don't know what happened, but...
Sounds like Sarah's 3 feet tall.
All right.
Thank you.
Where did we end?
I got the recorder from Estes Method. So we did participate in a little group Estes Method project.
It was a little bit different than what we normally do.
With the host. We sent them our recording. So I actually don't know how it matches up with theirs. So we did a 10-minute session in the closet. They did it somewhere else. And their idea was just to compare the answers. And so I actually don't know what they got from it. I mean, I can tell you what I got briefly.
Could you hear his questions or was it
Not
too
at all.
faint? I was worried about that.
So
I think that was the point, though.
At one point, I have it on. Lindsay, you say, hopefully she can't hear him out there. And I say, no.
Because we could hear him, me and Sarah did.
I could hear his voice. I don't know what he's saying.
Okay.
Like on the recording.
Gotcha.
I couldn't hear him with the headphones. And then I say, Norma. Is that who it is?
That's my grandma's name.
Aww. Maybe it was Norma.
Was she a Freemason?
No.
Okay.
They said
I don't
that
think she would be there.
it could be just any spirit, they said, coming through.
They said
She
transient.
was just hanging out with me.
Yeah. Why not? I say, is that who it is? Nuh-uh. I think so. I'm taking a break. And then I say, Ben. I'm just kidding. It's him.
Just kidding.
Just kidding. And then at some point we switch. You say record. I told Austin. Not yet. Blue Tail. No, father. And then one of them days.
The old blue tail.
I know we were like, Blue Tail. What was that? And then we wrapped it up for the night. That was it.
I remember them just saying, because they kind of, after that first initial, us all being in the big room, they kind of did their thing, we did our thing. And I just remember them saying their tripwire went off, the REM pod was going off, but that for how many times they've been there, it was relatively quiet for them. Like they weren't getting EVPs. They weren't really getting much responses either. So
We seem to have that effect. But I also think that my expectations are
I think that's what it is.
very high.
You just think we should be getting more, which I understand.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
sometimes
I don't think it's
a quiet
necessarily
night.
us just ruining the vibe.
And
Sometimes
it wasn't.
we bring the vibe, you know?
And honestly,
We are
looking
the
back
vibe.
at it, it was not necessarily quiet. Like I felt things, I
Right.
heard things. It's just, we've been doing it for a minute,
Right.
and I want big things to happen.
Sarah saw shadow
More.
people.
I did.
I mean, I feel like that's a pretty big thing.
She's not a shadow person, but she saw shadow people.
You were getting vibes. You were hearing taps.
Yeah.
The motion detector light was going off repeatedly.
And you wouldn't say like that you were feeling vibes or off vibes, oppressive vibes if you weren't actually feeling them. So
No, I try not to
Yeah.
say that.
I feel like we've been to places that have definitely been quieter than
Right.
this
Sure.
in the past. Part of it is hard because I feel like a lot of our bangs and taps, we can't really confidently say that's anything because we don't know what the other group was doing at the time.
Right.
So I think that goes with public, investigations. And then also we weren't there very long. It ended at midnight.
Yeah.
It was a short night. So
And just to add to it, I think it would be even creepier if we were there alone.
Mm.
So I think nothing against the group. They were great and the hosting group was fine. But I think it just is kind of a weird, creepy place that would be even creepier if it was just the three of us.
It's definitely nothing against the group. They were
No.
very nice. We, with every single public investigation, we're always like, I wish we could do that
Mhm.
alone as a private.
Yeah. Still a fun place to go. I think this was our first, Freemason Lodge. There's another one in Salina that we want to go to.
Right.
So we'll have to hit that one up in Salina, and then we can kind of maybe compare the two.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Ooh. I wonder if Truman goes down there too.
I
No.
bet he
Dang
walked
it.
all the way to Salina.
He likes to stroll.
His
He
stroll took
strolled
him.
to Salina.
He did not.
There's a stroll trail.
Nope. There's no Stroll Trail.
If you guys had to give a rating, would you give a rating to this place?
I'm gonna go 5. Yeah. I'm gonna go 5.
All right, 5 and 6.
Yeah.
I am impressed you gave a rating because sometimes you refuse to. So good job.
You
Thank
get mad
for
when
that.
I don't. So
I know. I like a rating.
You did not sound confident in it, but
I don't want to make Lindsay mad.
Good.
So I committed to something.
I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, guys. We will post the amazing pictures that we took at this place.
Get ready.
Thanks, guys, so much for tuning in this week to our haunted investigation. You can always find us at thetipsyghost.com with our socials linked from there, or send us an email at thetipsyghost@gmail.com.
Please give us a 5-star rating and a great review anywhere you listen to podcasts. We really appreciate it, and it really does help.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. We'll catch you next week.
Okay, bye.
Bye.